No Nation, Kelvin Hunt here, Built for Playmakers YouTube channel. Hope you're doing well on this Monday evening as I'm recording this. Man, had a long day, but was looking forward to digging into this Miami footage. Man, Miami fans, still moral victory. Talking junk. I had a Miami fan tell me they were going to be 21-point favorites in next year's matchup, which I thought was hilarious. I mean, oh man, you gotta love Miami fans. But yeah, so we're gonna get into some clips from the game. Primarily, I want to look at the offensive side of the ball. I felt like the defense, pretty much, aside from a couple plays, dominated Miami, especially in the second half. I think I can apply the word domination. I tweeted that they only made it past midfield once in the second quarter on their own volition, and that was with the fluke play that went for a touchdown. Other than that and the onside kick they recovered, they never made it past midfield in the second half. Had 35 rushing yards. I mean, for all the talk about Miami's offensive line, being great and all that good stuff, I saw someone tweet, I can't recall my guy's name, but they had one of their worst passing protection games also. So yeah, so we're going to get into it. Go ahead and like this post for me. Really appreciate the support you guys have given over the past few videos. These things are doing big numbers, and we want to keep them going that way, get this content to more FSU fans. But yeah, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and we'll get into it. And excuse me, in this particular game, it felt like Mike Norvell wanted to use the passing game to kind of set up the run game, which I thought was a smart play. I had said in the video before the game that Miami's secondary and their linebackers could be gotten in coverage and in space. And earlier in the game, I mean, the first play of the game, which we're going to look at here, they open up with a pass to Trey Benson. They're coming out of the backfield, and it goes for a big gain. And they had some success doing that. And so, yes, they kind of went away from that. For once they went up 10-0. They ran two plays into a 7-man box that went for nothing. Wound up punting. The next opportunity was when they got a penalty on the first play, so it's 1st and 20, and then the second play of that drive was when Jordan Travis, ran back into the end zone, and it should have been a safety or whatever. So they punted again, and they totally went away from what had got them 10 points for the most part. So we're going to go ahead and show this here. So again, you expect Miami to go all out, stop the run. That's their identity. They want to stop the run. They got everybody here at the line of scrimmage, and we'll see what happens. Look at this. Look. Nobody there. Boop. 17-yard gain. Yeah. They could have, whenever they went to a more of an RPO type attack, there was nothing that Miami could do. There was nothing they could do. And really going to RPO is what set up the first, not the first touchdown run, with the big touchdown run with Benson there in the second half. So we'll look at it one more time here. So you got Jaheim Bell down here. There's a guy right here, I think. But you see how you just have so much space out here. And I want to say, too, the offensive line for FSU did a really good job in pass pro for the most part. There were a couple of times when they really kind of came all out after Jordan Travis and, brought, too many guys and they could block. And we saw FSU do the same thing a couple of times as well. So in this particular play, FSU is already up 7-0. But, what it's all on these linebackers here. These linebackers, they are just triggering on stopping the run. And watch what happens here. See, they're already creeping up. And so you can see Johnny Wilson going to come loose. I mean, I feel like FSU could have just RPO'd them to death. They never stopped it. That's a big gain there. I think that led to the field goal there. Here, so I should have put this in better sequence, but this is before they scored. But again, it's 2nd and 5. Here, you got man coverage. This guy's playing off, right? So you're gonna have an underneath over here. So watch Jaheim Bell. I mean, across the middle was open all night long. Miami didn't want to get beat. They want to get beat deep either. So you see these guys. I mean, it's 2nd and 5, and this guy's way past the sticks here. All right, so here, this is in the 3rd quarter, 2nd and 9. Again, watch these linebackers here. Look, this guy here has already come up. I mean, their corners couldn't do anything with FSU's receivers, and these guys are not even 100%, and they still were eating. Look at this. Look at all this space back here. Look at all this space. All right, so we'll go to here. This is a big play with Ja'Kai Douglas. Again, you see, you got all these guys here, not too deep, and you're going to see them trigger, and you're going to see a whole bunch of space here. And this safety probably thinks the ball is going to go to Keon Coleman, and so he kind of cheats over a little bit, and that even gives Ja'Kai Douglas even more space to work. Look at this. Boop. Look at it in real time. Miami had nothing for this. They had nothing to stop RPO. Why we went away from it, I have no idea. I know some of the guys are banged up. Maybe that's some of it. I don't know. Maybe I know some of the guys on the offensive line are banged up. Maybe it's, they didn't feel like certain guys could do certain things with certain guys coming out of the game. I don't know. It just never made sense to me. Here we go. So again, this is 1st down. You see Miami's got a bunch of guys here on the line of scrimmage. They're going to go to Coleman down here in the bottom. They're playing off. And it's pitch and catch. I mean, you had this type of play all night long. If you just leaned on your wide receivers, and I said this in the pregame, use Miami's aggression against them. They were aggressive against the run. I mean, it was there all night. And then you see, so here we have Benson's touchdown run, where they took the lead. And you see, you have these guys all up here on the line of scrimmage already. So before the ball is even hiked. Now, this is a gamble for Miami. This is one of those deals where you saw again with Pitt. if you have a bunch of guys up here and they don't make a play, then you got a whole bunch of space out there. And you see what happens. Nice job by Portier to get in the way there to help Benson score. It's almost like he came out the sidelines and jumped in there. Nice job by the O-line there. But you had been hitting them with RPOs at this point. And you had already scored to tie the game up, after they took the lead on the onside kick. And so you kind of used the passing game to set up this run play here. All right. So here, all right. So this is going backwards a little bit, but this is what I want to highlight. So FSU had success with the passing game RPOs, right? We're up 10-0. We got decent starting field position here, the 30 and a half yard line. I just don't know why we went away from RPO or just passing the first down in general. Here you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a lot of times Miami would leak a guy down late too. Look, I mean that's just not going anywhere. I mean, Miami's triggering hard on the run. I mean, and we're gonna run just straight. I mean, I know you're counting on, I don't know who that is. You're counting on these guys pulling to make blocks, but I mean, we haven't really done that well all year. The RPO is working. All right. So we're gonna go here again. So this is the exact next play in that particular drive. It's 2nd and 13. 2nd and 13 now. Why do we run that? I mean, it's like we gave this entire possession away, it felt like. For whatever reason, we just decided to run up the gut. And the next play was a 3rd and 12 screen that went for like 3 yards. We punted. I'm going to share this. I mean, this was on the next drive where I felt like we wasted back-to-back possessions. So again, it was 1st and 10. We had a holding penalty, and then Jordan Travis, for whatever reason, just runs. He did the same thing against Pitt. He runs backwards. Like here you're backpedaling. You gotta just take off. And get out of the pocket and throw the ball out of bounds. Backpedaling, and I mean, you got to know where you are. Like, I mean, I don't know. I think he's just trusting his legs too much there. I mean, that was a terrible decision from a guy that's been playing a lot of football. You gotta get rid of that ball. But that was back-to-back weeks that we saw that. We saw the same thing against Pitt week before last. All right. So defensively, we're going to go to the defensive side of the ball, and I only have a couple of clips here. So here, this particular play, let's see. This is a let's see. Okay, got you. Yeah. All right. So it's 3rd and 4. We have an opportunity to get off the field, force them to punt. So let's start at the beginning here. So Patrick Payton, and the ends did this quite a bit in this game. I felt like they kind of got too far out and ran themselves out of the play quite a few times. And this was one of those plays. But this play really falls on Conrad Huzzy here. Conrad Huzzy here is the safety, right? and we'll see what happens. So he kind of triggers downhill. All right. So Huzzy is right here beyond, right off the screen here. This guy's locked up. This guy's locked up. There's nobody else he needs to cover. Hussey is here. So it's like he's thinking, well, he can still throw the ball because he's behind the line of scrimmage, which he is behind the line of scrimmage, but everybody's already covered. Hussey should be coming downhill trying to knock his head off. And instead, he allows Emory Williams to get, some momentum going forward and then kind of carry him over for the first down. This is what you dream about as a safety, to come up here and knock his whole head off. But you see, he kind of let him come to him, and it's a little bit too late. I mean, credit to Emory. I mean, he put his body on the line ultimately and paid for it. But hey, credit to the young guy being tough. But you could have knocked him out of the game here. Not that you're trying to hurt him, but you're gonna send a message like, "Hey, don't be running here with me coming downhill like that." All right, so that's probably one reason why you're still not seeing Hussey out there as much as you want. He's still tentative. There was another play here. I think it's this one where this one really ticked me the hell off. I think this is it. Yeah. Okay. So okay. Well, let's go back. So look, Hussey is here. Here's Hussey. Here's the ball. Watch instead of going at the angle here and tackling him at, say, the 49 or 50. Watch where he runs out of bounds. Why are you running beside him? That's not the play. That's not exactly the play I'm thinking about. There was another play that was almost identical to this one, and he winds up tackling him out of bounds and probably should have got a penalty for like driving the guy's head into the ground. But instead of just coming up and making a tackle, he kind of was tentative and like ran beside the guy for a while, and then tried to tackle him once he was going out of bounds. So that's probably why you're not seeing Hussey out there as much as we want. I know. Look, I don't want to talk bad about players, man. Y'all know how I feel about the one guy out there that's really killing us at safety. He's been killing us at safety all year. But it is what it is, and really in this game, the defense was really lights out aside from missed tackles. Almost all of the big plays, except for the one that went for a touchdown. We know what happened on that one. Everything else was missed tackles. It was Fentrell Cypress, missing a tackle. We talked about how Miami liked to run those little comebacks where the defensive back has to slam on brakes and then try to come up and make a tackle at the same time that the wide receivers kind of catching the ball and spinning out of that comeback. And a lot of times we saw it with Jerry and Jones against LSU. We saw it with Fentrell Cypress against LSU. You see it's hard to make those tackles a lot of times. And so we saw Fentrell Cypress miss a tackle. Then right after that, we saw, you guessed it, miss a tackle. And then we saw guys missing tackles on some of those long runs that Miami had from the running backs. All of those were kind of just safeties and defensive backs and missing tackles for the most part. Stuff that you can clean up. It's just, hey, you got to go make a play, go make a tackle. Simple as that. So thinking about this game, and I put in a title of this, did FSU unlock a cheat code? Like, teams have I guess you could say they kind of have a blueprint of sorts to try to stop FSU, right? It's like, okay, stop the run, bring pressure. We've seen that from Pittsburgh. We saw that from Miami this week and back-to-back weeks. And so it's either you bring a lot of pressure or you set back and try to make FSU execute down the field, right? So if a team is bringing pressure like that, don't run into those stacked boxes. You can do the RPO, and it's like, hey, then they got to make a decision. Either the linebackers got to come up against the run, and if they do, you hit them behind them, like you saw. But God, they did it whenever they wanted to, and I just don't know why they went away from it. If the linebackers don't come up, hand the ball off, and to get 3 or 4 yards and see what happens, And then another thing was, Jordan still didn't run. There was a couple of times where if he'd have just kept the ball on the read, he could have ran. He could have ran for a long time, and for whatever reason, he just didn't. So, you got Jordan still not running the ball when the opportunities are there. If teams are pressuring, you have the RPO. Jordan's really good at those RPOs, and the receivers are some of the better receivers in the country. So why not use them when your offensive line isn't the greatest at run blocking? Their strength is pass blocking. So play to that, and use some of those shorter passes as an extension of the run game, instead of just beating your head and running the ball, up into 7 and 8 man boxes. So if FSU makes the playoffs, like I expect them to, you play Michigan or Georgia or whoever else could get in there. You're going to see teams probably go all out to stop the run, but then it's like, okay, if you do that, I'll take our matchups with our receivers against your secondary and your linebackers. I'll take that. And I think FSU can have some success if they take that approach. Will they do it? I don't know. They do it at times. But then, they went away from it for whatever reason. They went away from it, then came back to it. And I just, man. Also, the one play, I should have did a clip on it. The one play down on the goal line. Oh, it was on the drive that Ja'Kai Douglas got tackled. And they settled for a field goal. It's 3rd and goal. They run Jordan to the boundary. Why I don't know, when you got Keon Coleman in a 1-on-1 over there, and then a couple possessions later you saw Keon in a 1-on-1 and you throw it and he mosses the receiver. Why are we running in a condensed field with Jordan, knowing the offensive line struggles in those short yardage situations? So that's what I was saying when I tweeted the other day. It pissed me off when I saw the success we were having, and then it's like, why are we going away from that? But at the same time, it gives me hope that, when you do play a team with an even better defense potentially than Miami or Pitt, that you can go to these concepts and move the ball like at will, it feels like, with the receivers you have. I know they're banged up. Jaheim Bell's banged up. Johnny Wilson's banged up. Keon Coleman's banged up. They have an opportunity to rest this week, hopefully, get ready for Florida. Then after that, you'll play probably Louisville. And if you beat Louisville and you go to the playoffs, you're going to have quite a bit of time for those guys to hopefully heal up. I don't know exactly what's going on with them, but it could have been an opportunity for them to, maybe if they're 80%, maybe they can get up to 90, 95% potentially, So I think FSU's got to go to the passing game more whenever they're playing these teams that are really aggressive, especially when those linebackers are triggering. When they do that, go to your strength, man. Go to your receivers. Use Jordan Travis in the run game. You got to loosen up. You got to loosen up that box, and spreading them out and doing that. That'll cause those linebackers to kind of hesitate a little bit when triggering downhill, and then you can go to Trey Benson and go from there. So then it becomes truly pick your poison, right? So hopefully we'll see more of that. So that was one of the major takeaways I had in this particular game. I felt like FSU was on the verge of blowing Miami out. Those 2 back-to-back possessions where they were up 10-0 and just wasting them. That was, man, got to capitalize on those. So, but look, happy with the win. Happy to continue to talk smack to Miami fans because, of course, they're waiting until next year. Looks like FSU's making some noise on the recruiting trail again. Hey, woo, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But in the next, we got like a month, I guess. But got only a few slots remaining, and we could fill those slots with some big time players. So we'll see what happens. But look, until then, I appreciate the support once again. If you're still watching, you haven't liked this, hit the like button for me. It don't cost you anything. And we'll probably see you guys later this week. Until then, go Noles.